everyone.
Hello.
Ciao Maki, Čepak, Marco Čepak.
Ciao Ricky.
And today we would like to talk about how to create some good lines improvising on autumn leaves. Autumn leaves, sorry for my pronunciation. Autumn leaves. We were thinking about this, and we were thinking and talking about the nature of autumn leaves, the chord progression that we are going to improvise on. And to do this, in the beginning, we just would like to explain some basic things about chords that we have in autumn leaves. So the first chord is a C minor 7th, which is the second degree for B flat major 7, because autumn leaves is in B flat major and in G minor. So
the relative minor.
Yeah. So we have C minor 7th, which is the second degree, then we have F7, which is the fifth degree, and then we have B flat major, which is the first degree in B flat major, of course. Then we have E flat major, which is a fourth degree for B flat, and a flat sixth degree for G minor, which is the next key we are going to. So E flat could be considered fourth degree for B flat and flat sixth degree for...
You can already think as a relative minor here.
Yeah. We are going to the relative.
It's like 2-5 then.
Yeah, and then we have A half diminished, which is the second degree for G minor, D7, which is the fifth degree for G minor, and G minor sixth, which is the first degree. Then the first time we played this G7 as a secondary dominant, because we are going back to C minor one more time.
And this is the chord.
Second A section. C minor, F7, B flat major, like we did before, E flat major, and then A half diminished, D7, and G minor sixth. And then from here we start the B section. Would you like to explain it?
Yes.
Maki?
And the B section starts, it's like with the end of the A section, right? So it's like 2-5 to the relative minor, to the G. So A, half diminished, D7. This is interesting, it's like jazz stuff, you know, the relative minor isn't Aeolian, but is also written as G6. So it's
G minor 6.
It's like tonic minor, you can play melodic minor, Dorian.
And then you play the dominant 7th chord in that moment.
Then
it
becomes the 5 chord to the second chord, the second degree, so C minor. And back is like 2-5-1 to the B, 4, which can be also understood as a half diminished. It's the same chord. Second to the relative minor. Again 2-5 to relative minor. And then I like to do this chromatic movement instead of doing like the turnaround 2-5-2-5. So it's kind of playing G minor C7 and then F minor B7 to
B flat 7,
B flat 7 to E flat. I like to do this like tritone substitution of the dominants. And then it's again the 4th degree. And then I like to do 2-5s to the first. Although it's the same chord, E flat major 7
or A diminished. So we know the same chords, we use the same chords. As often happens in jazz, we can have different variations, but they are mostly just substitutions of the same chords, and we are on the same page with these chords. Okay, now our idea that we were talking about before is that each song has got some basic lines which are natural to the song. And these lines are something that if we use these lines are something that really works well, works in a good way for that song. So the point is, which lines can we choose when we play Autumn Leaves? And if we look at the melody,
Yes.
some lines are already written.
Yeah.
And for example, the melody always uses this kind of third, going down, becoming seventh,
Yes.
and then going down to the
Like
third
guide notes.
guide notes,
Yeah.
which are often we can find them in a lot of songs of this period.
Yeah.
So All Things You Are is really
Of
similar.
course. Yes.
And so this is the first line that a good improviser usually tends to use. So the minor third becoming minor seventh, and then major third becoming major seventh, and then minor third becoming minor seventh, and then minor third becoming major. Would you like to play an improvisation around these notes,
Okay.
just as
Yeah.
an example? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this works because it is in the song, of course, and it's really easy to use this material.
Yeah, somebody very famous told me once, I won't mention his name, but he told me, let's face it, these are the most beautiful notes you can play.
Yeah, in fact.
Always.
In fact.
You know?
Would you like to try the same idea? Now we have the parallel line starting from the minor seventh, for example. So now we were starting from the minor third, but if we start C minor,
so we can go into one direction, we can choose which one. So we are up high here, so I will go down.
Okay. For now, if we stay on this minor thirds, and just to clear the sound for them, because of course then we can add a lot of different solutions to this. But in the beginning, the suggestion could be, I don't know if you agree, choose something simple that you can also interiorize as a sound when you practice.
Yes.
Because music is so light, so I don't know how to describe it. That
this is the sound, the sound of the harmony we have in our head. I mean, we can only play like I played now, very simple. But we can also do like. We can do more notes, but we always have this sound, this. Like how you say the movement, it's like how you call them?
What do you mean? How do I call?
Voice leading.
Voice leading or guide tones.
So it's not necessary that we always play only voice leading. You can play melodies that then relate to the voice leadings, you know.
Yeah. And would you like to give an example about that?
Yeah, we can try.
So voice leading. Do you mean that when we play only those lines, those notes, we are just playing one really easy melody that works very well, but easy melody. Then we can embellish this melody.
This is like my road that I'm walking on.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just like to do like this.
Yeah.
But I'm always going this direction. You know?
Of course. Okay. Yeah. That's really interesting. Would you like to try to play? Okay. Are you choosing now the third or the seventh as a starting point?
We can choose the seventh. No,
okay. So let's give them the example. The easiest way first, and then the second time, the second A section, with some embellishments.
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
So it's 7, 3, 7, 3.
with some embellishment?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Really nice, really nice. And in this case, we have seen that all of these melodies we did as a natural thing, they are always going down, because in some way, if you want to connect closer notes, you need harmony usually goes down when you use 4-note chords. While if you use triads, it's different. Have you noticed this, Maki? If you start from C minor as a triad, and then you go to F major as a triad, then you go up.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Of course.
So if you use common tones technique with triads on a lot of these jazz songs, not only jazz songs, of course, but became jazz songs. We move up if we use triads, while we go down when we use 4-note chords. And this is interesting to create some melodies around using the same concept, but yeah. And so an example going up could be using triads. Can I try giving an example? So now I play around these triads. For example, I play C minor in second inversion, then I go to F major, first inversion, then I go to B flat, root position, E flat, second inversion, A diminished, first inversion, D major, root position, and then I go to G minor, second inversion, to G major, second inversion. And I try to improvise something around this position, so not only these notes, but in the beginning only these notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Also the version starting from the first inversion of C minor, F major, root position, B flat, second inversion, E flat, first inversion, A, half diminished, root position, D major, second inversion, and C minor, first inversion, G minor, first inversion. And if I add something around this, I can create a melody that goes up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it works because it is in the music. The music is guiding me in playing some of those notes. I like to give an example to my students, which is this one. Improvisation, to me, it seems to be like when you have a rock in your hand and you throw it to a lake, into the water. And then when it enters the water, it creates the shapes, waves. Which is the ripple effect, I think. The name is ripple effect. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, when you throw the rock, you are doing something that you choose. But after having done that, after having threw the rock into the water, waves are natural. Waves is something that happens
out of your control.
Out of my control, or maybe in a natural way. I just need to understand what is this natural way. You know, so you can choose the beginning of your improvisation, but then if you really understand what you did in the beginning of your improvisation, you can just look for the natural solution, which is written in harmony, written in the melody of the tune. So it is something that already exists, not that you need to invent.
I like to, I mean, there is always the sound of the harmony that we were talking about in my head, but I like to try not to think what to play ever, just to put myself in the point of view of a listener. So the music tells me what to do. So if I only listen, I will react spontaneously. Of course, you need to practice all the tools, to have the tools with which you express yourself. But if I only listen, then I naturally react in the right way, usually. As long in the moment when I start thinking that I want to do something, it's wrong for the music, usually. At least how I receive when I listen to myself.
That's true, and it depends, I think, on the level that you have in knowledge of what you are doing. So if your fingers are not connected with your brain and you can't play the right note that you hear in your mind, but to play the right note and to hear the right note, you need to have a culture of sounds,
of course,
of progressions,
I mean,
of scales, of solutions.
Of course, you need to know the language to talk to.
I think that John Abercrombie said, maybe, I'm not sure, but I think that he said that in the beginning you need to listen to your guitar and you need to play something that you know is correct. And then after a while, the more you practice, you start hearing the sounds first and then you play. So in the beginning you need your instrument to tell you what is correct. And the more you practice, you can invert the process and you can play something that you hear, but you learn it thanks to your instrument and thanks to the practice that you did controlling each note, each interval that you can choose in the beginning. So this is something that I think can create really confusion in someone who's beginning the path of learning how to improvise. Because often we listen to someone saying, play what you hear. But in the beginning, when you begin studying, you can't hear.
You can't, you need to develop.
You need to create your culture of sounds. Which is something that has got a method also. The more you have a method in practicing, the more you can practice in an ordered way, the more your brain will understand what you want to touch.
But then it's also because you really need to practice hard to learn your instrument and to develop your ear, to talk with the same language with the musicians you play with. But the more you practice, the harder it is then to go away from thinking, because you practice scales, you practice shapes, you practice everything, and then how can I put myself into a position that it feels like I'm not playing, but I'm playing, I'm just listening, and the body does it by itself. This is the best feeling that happens to me. But it doesn't happen often,
Because probably we also a lot of times we are playing some repertoires that are not very interiorized, so that we need to think. The more we play songs, the more we enter the song, the sound of the song, the more we can be spontaneous in playing improvisations on that songs. But I think if you think, for example, to a child when he or she is learning how to talk, in the beginning they are just listening to someone else, then they start understanding how to create some sounds. They then start to create a word, and then they start creating a small phrase, and then at the same time that they create these sounds and phrase and word, at the same time they are creating the way of thinking using those words. And the more you go on, the more you can create an idea in your brain, and you can explain it to someone else, which is technique in the beginning, you know, that you need to create. It's a technique.
It's pretty the same process. Good example.
And then you go on, you go on, and you go on. But how many years we spend to learn how to speak? Or if you think to a student starting from the elementary, the kindergarten first, then the elementary school, then the middle school, then the high school, then the university. How many years we spent to have a culture in speaking and writing our language, for example. And usually when we think about music, we would like to have a faster development. We hope for a faster development, but I don't think it's possible.
There are no shortcuts.
There are no shortcuts. So
I mean, if you want to learn it really well, properly,
you need to be patient.
Because it's worth, because then you enjoy. Otherwise, it's always some black hole. Spot.
And would you like to give a different example? Because now we were giving two examples connected with the basic harmony. So first we were talking about 4-note chords, and then we went on with this example with triads, which moves going up, which move going up, sorry. And if we start putting in it also going up maybe, but using also extensions, ninth and
this is the same as you said before, because you said usually is the problem that we don't know the songs very well. We haven't internalized the songs. This is how we internalize the song.
Creating some lines.
Yes, of course, because we are now learning the sounds, learning the flow of the harmony.
Would you like to try? Maybe starting from the root. What choice can you? From the root. And then going F7. What do you?
6 maybe? Or 5.
Oh, sharp 5.
Interesting. Then goes into third.
E flat.
1.
Here we can transform this, because if we
now
go
if
up,
I stay, it's flat 5. It's
flat 5. Okay, let's choose this one. Let's do this one, and then this 7th.
But I mean, we need to decide the rules.
Okay.
Should we move, or it's we are able to stay?
Okay. Of course, this is not a precise science. We are going to choose this every time that we practice. We choose some ideas around which we want to create our path. In this case, if the rule is always going up, we have to choose something, because we started with C minor, playing the root, then we went to F7 with a sharp 5,
which
then
is
we went, then we go to B flat, playing the major 3rd, then we went to E flat, playing the root, and now we need to go up, and we can play the flat 13th on A, but playing the flat 13th on A, usually
it's like an avoid note for the half.
We usually transform this hey half diminished, and we transform it to a A7 sharp 5, so that note is more
the secondary dominant of the dominant,
and it becomes the secondary dominant of D7. And then we go to D,
the third of D,
and then we go to G minor, root, and G7,
flat 9.
Flat 9. Okay, let's try to improvise around this.
Okay.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what do you think, Maki? This could
It's
be
really
enough.
nice, really nice. Really, this is really nice. You can develop and try to play lines, trying to be creative. You can then also play more notes if you like to. You know?
And also if you add a second line to play together with the first one that you chose to play, for example, now we were playing this line. This was the melody for each chord. And if I choose to add a second note, maybe higher, maybe lower, I don't know, and I decide that this is the melody, when I go to the next chord, and when I go to the next chord, and when I go to the next, when I go to A7, and then I go to D, and then I go to G, and then I go to G7, and so on. I can create a double line going up, and in this way, if I just create a little rhythm around these two notes that I have for each chord, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can choose two notes and move them, and then if you add a chromatic approach or stuff that we know, the improvisation is already done.
Endless possibilities then, but just with choosing the target notes.
Yeah, and create some good melodies on Autumn Leaves. Okay, what do you think, Maki? Is it?
I think it's enough for an idea that you can develop for a couple of months. I mean, we are still trying to do these kind of exercises, right?
Of course. Every day it's a new day exploring jazz guitar, like a book that Jim Moll created. Do you know that book? Exploring Jazz Guitar by Jim Moll. It's really exploring jazz guitar for us, or guitar in general for us. And I would like to remind that if you want, you can subscribe to Maki's channel. You will find the link in the description. You can subscribe to my channel, of course. And then if you want, we have a Facebook group and we have a blog, a website that you can also check out. So if you like this idea, please stay with us and we will produce other videos similar to this.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.